Who were you influenced by? What was the sound of your childhood and what
Prodigy,
you really loved?
Onyx, Sticky Fingers, Big Pun, Big L. The mid to late '90s is when I was coming up, and that's when I was heavily influenced.
Right.
But I'm also, I went to Catholic school, so I was also influenced by Nirvana and Pearl Jam and like the grunge rock era, because that's when I was like 6th, 7th grade. So I was into everything.
Right.
But
To me, that's like a real New Yorker, is somebody who can really take in all these different influences, because there is so much different shit around. I remember one thing, you kind of remind me of Action Bronson a little bit, with the way that you just have appreciation for so many different things. I remember when I first listened to Bronson and I realized this guy has wrestling references. He's making jokes about bodybuilders that I fucking heard about, shit like that. Like, I love a person who's not afraid to just have like a lot of different interests. You know?
Absolutely, well-rounded.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you grow up in New York, you have to kind of be a chameleon, because wherever you go, every neighborhood is you're next door. I'm Puerto Rican Irish. My neighbor might be Indian. My other neighbor might be from fucking, El Salvador.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and you grow up with friends of every culture, every creed, every religion, every ethnicity, and it's just like it's a melting pot, and you just become well versed in everything.
And that's why LA is so different, is that like Beverly Hills and Compton are like 30 miles apart.
And
so
it's night and day.
They never fucking see each other. If you're from Beverly Hills, you got no reason to go there. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn, you're in a black neighborhood. There's a Puerto Rican neighborhood next door. There's a Hasidic Jewish neighborhood next door. It's like
Italian,
and you all just get on the train together, and you got some guy that's like completely fucking different from you, and you're just around each other. I think it makes people a little bit more tolerant.
100%, 100%, and that's why even in New York, even saying the N-word.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I came up, I said that shit. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from the hood. Never was an issue.
Right.
Never. Nobody ever, even to this day, nobody's ever said nothing to me in person. But you see it online. And then when I started going out to Detroit battling, I would see like their faces would be like offended, and I'd be like, I was confused.
Right.
I never thought, but it's either black and white out there. There's no Puerto Ricans. Even when I went recently, a couple weeks ago, to Atlanta, most of my crew was real Puerto Ricans running through. They're like, yo, guys are aggressive. We're like, this is just how we talk. Like, yo, you mad Puerto Ricans? It's not. So that's when I started seeing that, okay, this is not how everybody talks.
Right.
This is not like, because in New York, you got white guys saying it, you got Chinese people saying it. It's just how people talk.
When I first moved to New York, that was one of the things that really stood out to me, was every fucking person said it, including white kids with rich fucking parents, and every Spanish kid, every Puerto Rican kid, whatever. Couldn't believe it, at the time. But I feel like that maybe has changed a bit, just because
it's changed now.
The internet has informed
100%,
everybody,
100%. And that's why, if you listen to my earlier music, I say it, and then I just came to a conscious effort, like, I'm not saying that shit no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if a lot of things back in the days were tolerated and accepted that aren't now.
Right.
You just have to change with the times. And also, I don't want to give anybody a reason not to listen. First of all, I don't want to offend nobody anymore. That's how I live. Before, I used to really be fucking like, I don't give a fuck how you feel. Fuck your life.
I was searching you up on YouTube last night. I seen some good examples.
Yeah, 100.
I want to know why you smacked the shit out of this barber.
He didn't pay the rent.
I mean, he was working for you, right?
Yeah.
So you own the barber
shop? I had 2 barbershops in Staten Island. Me and my cousin owned it. And there's just, kid was a habitual line stepper.
Right.
Like, he always would come late on the rent. But he was a good kid. I liked him. But it just comes to a point where you're like, you're not going to keep taking advantage of me. You think it's a joke because I'm nice. Just sometimes you just got to.
And that's a communication style. But me as like a boss.
No, you can't do that.
If the editor's fucking up, I just gotta fire him or yell at him. I can't smack him upside the head.
Also, that was over 10 years ago, and you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I used to solve a lot of problems with violence.
Absolutely.
It's
the best way. I mean, ideally, you know what? I was just driving through. We're looking at the mountains. I'm like, yo, imagine back in the days before all these buildings, anything. You just riding your horse through here. Like, this whole country, they probably killed mad Indians. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this whole country is built on deboing people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was just the way of the world at that time. It's pretty amazing that people have gotten to the point where when Russia invades Ukraine, the whole world throws up its hands and says this is inappropriate, because that was just every other fucking day, I'm sure, but throughout all of human history. And it's funny that something like taking America from the Native Americans, everybody could agree that that was wrong. But it's also like, well, we ain't giving it back.
Yeah.
We want it. We need it.
It's ours now.
Yeah.
Fuck your life.
So we're still playing by those rules retroactively, which is kind of weird.
I didn't say Native American. I said Indians. If you feel a way about it, fuck your life. Right. But also, I tried not to do that, but I just, at the moment, I didn't realize what they were, what's the proper term.
I knew what you were going for. I don't think anybody expects, like, extreme political correctness from Nems. Gorilla Nems.
All right, people, we just hit 300,000 subscribers. You know we're trying to hit 400,000 subscribers. So that little red button, tap it, tap in. Appreciate y'all.